Hey guys, Jonah back here with another beer review, and I hope you're all well. Yeah, I didn't do an upload yesterday because I was back at Weatherspoons again, wasn't I? Oh my God, it's yeah, it's getting a bit crazy now. I've hit 10 though, 10 different beers out of the 30 beers that they've got. But because yeah, Weatherspoons are, well, they don't have music, number one, and as a result, there's a background sort of throng of people talking. And in the summertime, I could probably sit outside, and I reckon I could do a reasonably good beer review outside. But in the wintertime, when you're sitting inside, oh my God. And I know you're saying, why didn't you sit outside? Because it's blooming freezing at the moment. Although we apparently are going to have some sort of African plume, which is going to raise the temperatures at the end of the month, which would be weird because it's unlike October. Um, but hey, I'm really feeling the cold at the moment, and I'm not sure if it's a residual thing because of the cancer treatment or whatever, which I'm going to start in the new year again, which I'm looking forward to not. But anyway, it could drive a man to drink, couldn't it? And the drink I'm having today is this one. It is Vault City, and it's called Blueberry Maple. It's a sour beer at 6.5 or 6.6, I should say. It's by Vault City, who are up in Scotland, I believe. So let me see if you can zoom in there, if you can read that. I don't know. Blueberry maple, it's stacked with flavour. Get ready for a silky smooth, vegan friendly beer. Lashings of fresh and vibrant Scottish blueberries and decadent layers of maple. The sweetness from rich locally sourced blueberries is perfectly balanced with the tartness of our base beer, rounded off with sweet maple to create something that's delightfully moorish. And this does have some oats in it as well, which is always good. Oats from Scotland, blueberries from Scotland. My God! Now this has got real fruit. It's not just flavourings. So, whoop. And for a change, he actually spills it out. But this is a sour beer. So let's get this one in a glass. See what we get. Sour beers usually, the Belgian ones at least, usually don't have that much head. Oh, and that we've got some blueberry wrongness. And to be honest, I don't mind bits of, I don't know if you can see those bits floating about? They're down at the bottom now. Lots of little bits and bobs floating around, which are the blueberries. I usually don't like things floating around in my beer. Wow, let me turn this glass around. You can probably see these bits of floatiness, which is kind of crazy. They're probably going to settle out anyway. But yeah, we have. It's weird. It's a sort of hazy beer with a hue of kind of purple, obviously from the blueberries. Smells pretty tart. I was going to say there's not that much head, but you can probably see that from the top. We'll call that a fingernail's head. And I saw this was on special offer in the local Tesco's. And let's do, whoops, should we do a shot like this? Which I usually do. I don't always use those photos though, but hey, if you got them, why not? And it saves me taking another photo. I know some people they're much more professional than me, and they take a photo on an actual proper background and all that kind of stuff. But I like having the actual beer in a glass, and that would mean obviously buying double the amount of beers. I don't mind drinking double the amount, but I don't want to buy double the amount. Let's get in there. So this is weird. This smells like It's weird. It smells like a slow gin, kind of. I have made some kind of home brew, which is incredibly sour and bitter. As you well know, slows are quite bitter, and it does smell like this. So I'm expecting this to be reasonably tart. Chin Chin, pass me the slow gin. Ooh, ooh, wow. So, yes, it is reasonably tart, but the maple, and I guess this is going to be the maple syrup, I guess, um, balances it out quite nicely, but there's still that tartness before the maple fully kicks in, and then that sort of blueberry or yeah, it's weird fruit, sort of juicy fruit, um, is there too. But yeah, this weird underlying sourness to everything. I think perhaps, yeah, things aren't quite balanced, slightly out of kilter. Whatever beer they've used for the souring process, um, it's throwing me off a little bit because I think this beer is a lot sweeter than perhaps it should be, just to balance out that sourness. And weird, look at that, because it's got oats in it. We are definitely getting a line, a tide mark, and it's going to stick there, I think. Let's go in for a number two. Oh. When it's in your mouth while you're drinking, it's kind of sweet. It's not until you've finished and you actually drink that the sourness hits you, and then it's like, oh, it's going to be really sour, and but it isn't full on sour because that sort of balance. So my lips are a little bit sticky from yeah, from the maple syrup. So this is such a bizarre beer, and yeah, look, I was right. I've got a second tide line, which is a really good thing. Nice to see, but I'm almost guaranteed that's because of the oats in this beer. Um, wow, quite good combination, although not much head. This is one of the most weird, bizarre beers I've had, and I think, if I remember rightly, I think it was under £2. It was £1.70 something. So people obviously aren't buying this in bulk. Um, the Vault City. Um, where are they from in Scotland here? Oh, it does say, and I cannot read that. Oh, let's hold it up again. See if you guys can have an idea. Portobello, Edinburgh, EH15, so probably way outside. Uh, and in case you wanted to know what's in there, we've got wheats, we've got oats, blueberry, maple, hops, yeast, and barley. And back to me. Um, I quite like my sour beers, as you well know, lambics especially. Although some kettle sours aren't too bad too. This is weird though because it's obviously based on a really sour beer, and then they've gone, oh no, people won't buy that, so we'll put the maple in to bring it back up. It just doesn't sit. Yeah, the three flavors, the three main flavors, don't sit for me, that nicely together. It's not very balanced. Yeah, maybe why it was on offer. And there's another tide line. I mean, it is doing quite a few things that I like my beers to do. Got to be careful because of these floaters right at the bottom there. Can you see? Big old lump of stuff right at the bottom. I really don't want to neck that. But yeah, I mean, if I was in a scoring mood, and I'll probably have to score it before I put it on Untapped. Yeah, I hate to say it, but not very high. Maybe a 2, if I'm being really generous, a 2.5 out of 5. So half marks, 6 and a bit percent as well. Tell you what, that's quite hidden, but because there's so much other weird stuff going on within this beer, you're not even thinking about alcohol. To be perfectly honest, very odd kind of, and it's not full on blueberry either. That's the weirdest thing. Yeah, it's weird. It tastes like kind of a homebrew type thing. Very, very bizarre beer. But if your local Tesco's is doing the same as mine, you'll be able to get this beer on offer. Obviously, if you live in the UK. If you live in Scotland, you might be able to find it most of the time. Cheers and beers. Oh, and that sourness is getting worse. Well, it's getting more sour, should I say, the closer I get to those lumpy things in the bottom. So I am going to call that a day there. As I said the other day, the Wetherspoons Beer Festival, or Autumn Beer Festival, they always do them in October, is still going on. If you're in the UK, you know where your nearest Spoons is. Why not get down there? They do a tasting flight, which I didn't know before, for £1.99. And from what I understand, they are special glasses that are slightly less, or they might even be the third of a pint ones, and they're doing it as some sort of bargain. But if you bought a pint, the beers are like £2.19. So that's still ridiculous. Having a pint for £2 is pretty good considering the dodgy days that we're living in. But getting near on a pint of 3 different beers for £1.99, come on. Wetherspoons, I know people say different things about it, but when you have a pub chain that does 4 beer festivals per year and you're going to try beers that you're never going to try anywhere else, is definitely, in my opinion, that is worth a shout. It's not going to be like the amazing kind of beers like Siren or Vocation or that kind of stuff. Although I think there is a Siren beer in there. However, you're going to try beers that you will never ever see again. So, in my humble opinion, get yourself to Wetherspoons. And if not, I'll be back for another sour beer because I'm doing 2 in a row again. And yeah, we're going to do a sour beer from Vocation tomorrow. So until then, make sure you drink some beer because Uncle Jonna says so. Cheers and beers.